welcome to another episode of Wagstaff Explains. Today's topic, slope and y-intercept. Let's look at our first question. Use the graph below to determine the slope and y-intercept. So we're going to find slope first. To do that, we first need to find pretty points along our graph line. Pretty points are going to be located at the intersections of your grid lines. So let's find a few pretty points. So here's a pretty point, here, and here. And so we want to use those points to create our triangle. So we'll use these 2 points here. So I'm going to use green because we run across the grass. So we'll use green to represent our x-axis. And so we can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be plus 5. And then we're going to represent blue for our y-axis to represent rising to the sky. So blue here. And so from this point, we will count 1, 2, 3. So this is actually a negative 3. So for slope, it's rise over run. So our rise is a negative 3. I'm just going to put the negative here. And then our run is positive 5. And we'll put the 5 here. So our slope is negative 3/5. And now for the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, which is here. And so that point's location is 0, 1. Next question. Use the table below to determine the slope and y-intercept. So we are going to look at the change in y over the change in x. So let's look at the change in x first. So going from 1 to 2, we can see that we are adding 1. From 2 to 3, we are adding 1. From 3 to 4, we are adding 1. So the change in x is a positive 1. For the change in y, when we're going from 9 to 11, it's plus 2, 11 to 13, plus 2, 13 to 15, plus 2. So we can see that our change in y is plus 2. So then that makes our slope 2 because it was simplified to 2. And now for the y-intercept. So for the y-intercept, it works slightly different from the table because we want to know when x is 0. So when x equals 0, what does y equal? So we don't see 0 in the table, so we're going to have to manipulate the table a little bit to find 0. So we can see that we are counting up this way. So if we count backwards, we should be able to get to 0. So if we go this way and if we subtract 1, we should get to 0. So then we have to follow the same pattern on the y side. So if we follow the same pattern and subtract 2, 9 minus 2 is 7. So when x is 0, y is 7. So that would be the y-intercept, 0, 7. Next question. Use the points below to determine the slope. So we have 2 points that have already been given to us. So let's do the y-axis first. The x-axis. Yeah, let's do x-axis first. So on the x-axis, we have 2, and this is at 4. And then on the y-axis, it's 2, 30. And then this is 4, 60. So this will represent point 1, and this will represent point 2. So using our equation, it's y2 minus y1. So y2 is 60, y1 is 30. And x2 is 4 and x1 is 2. So if we do the math here, 60 minus 30 is 30, and 4 minus 2 is 2. When we simplify this, 30 divided by 2 is 15. So the slope of this line is 15. Our next and last question. Use the equation below to determine the slope and y-intercept. Now this equation is already in slope-intercept form, so this will be very easy. So 3.5 is our coefficient for our variable, and it also happens to be our slope. Now, -2 or subtracting 2 is our constant, and that happens to be our y-intercept. Thank you for watching another episode of Wagstaff Explains. Now you know how to find slope and y-intercept.